SVP and Russillo. It's time for Scott Van Pelt's One Big Thing. One Big Thing. On ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
It's SVP and Russillo on ESPN Radio, ESPNRadio.com, presented by Progressive Insurance. Thought we flash forwarded to the end of the show. So, we're presented by Progressive Insurance, incidentally. Looking for Kenny Mayne on Twitter. It's going to help my one big thing here. Talk amongst yourselves. Actually, I can talk as I look. Earlier this summer, as I watched the tail end of one of the conventions, I was struck by the similarities between politics and sports. And what I mean to say about that is this, that if you were to try to talk to an Ohio State fan and get them to see the merits of a Michigan man, good luck with that. They'll just tell you that the person's a savage and, and far worse. You're just never going to convince one side that the other side's even worth your regard as a human being. The exact same thing could be said about politics. If you're a Republican, you're just putting your fingers in your ears and going, I don't want to hear it as it relates to the Democrats, and it goes the same way the other side. And last night, as I watched MAC football, I watched NBA basketball, and then I figured we'll get to the tail end and we'll turn on the television to see who's winning what. And it struck me again that what television has become in terms of covering an election is exactly like sports. It's exactly like a pregame show. There are 75 people on a set. There are fancy graphics and maps. There are pundits. There are people telling you this side's going to win or that side's going to win. I'm not going to get into picking sides and what went on certain channels late. But it struck me that Kenny Mayne said on Twitter, Walter Cronkite did not have touchscreen maps of United States, and he thrived for many years. He went on to say Chet Hundley did not require 14 people at anchor table. I love Kenny, but I don't know if you felt the same way as I did as I watched it. The spectacle of it all, the use of sporting analogies about whether or not Mitt Romney needed to go on offense or leaving it all in the locker room, all these different analogies. And it also struck me, Ryan, is this, that back in the day, You Are Looking Live, Brent Musburger, the NFL Today, that was a half-hour pregame show, a half hour. Now, Herm's going to go be on NFL Live for an hour on a Wednesday. And on Sunday, pregame shows last 5 hours or something. We don't need this much coverage of anything. All anyone needed yesterday was Nate Silver. That dude from, what is he, from the New York Times?
Yeah, he actually just had a book come out about predicting things. He's terrific. He used to write Baseball Prospectus back in the day.
He got everything right. Everything. And he's like basically saying about the TV coverage, look, if you don't use these numbers and tell people here's what's going to happen, then you're all just a bunch of hacks. And that you're wasting everyone's time on TV. I don't think that we can use numbers to figure out what's going to happen in sports because, things happen in sports that you can't script. But apparently this guy had the script and knew it was going to happen, and so it could have saved everybody's time. I don't know if you saw any of the coverage at all. I'm just thrilled that it's over.
I actually watched a ton of it. I didn't think that I would, and then I did.
Was it compelling to you?
No, not really, because I always thought Obama was going to win, and you could see how it was playing out that way. I didn't really go into it last night thinking I was going to be all that surprised. But when you talk about how it relates to sports, it's actually dumber. If an Ohio State fan wants to be really mad about me not saying Ohio State secondary is good, I get it. You know what I mean? You're going to argue with me because you're a fan. But when you're choosing sides here and you're just going with your side no matter what the other person says.
No matter what.
It's the equivalent of having a Jags fan and a Browns fan sitting there screaming at each other, and the Browns guys you guys aren't that good at offense. Actually, we are. Actually, we really are good on offense. And you'd think, how could you possibly say that? It's the worst thing you can do in these political conversations is admit that you're wrong about anything. Sports conversations are far less important, but way more accurate, if that's even possible.
But at the core, at the crux of both is still the fact that one side in a passionate rivalry will rarely, if ever, concede anything to the other. But I'll grant you this, and I am, this about me, completely apolitical. Not proud necessarily, but just so you know, I don't want to hear I don't want some liberal get mad at me, and I don't want some conservative. No, I'm not political. But there's nothing worse than either one of you either one of you, because neither one of you will listen to the other side. Neither one of you. And so you're probably right, because at some point a Michigan and Ohio State fan maybe could have some.
Yeah, like I'm sure some Michigan fans are like, man, Braxton Miller, that guy's good. And I'm sure when Denard was running all over people, there's Buckeyes fans saying he's terrific. It was politics.
The Michigan coach won't call the team Ohio State. He just calls them Ohio.
Yeah, but that's like, hey, that's the whole
school up north thing.
Yeah, the lunch buffet crowd. And we're going to be singing Rocky Top all night. It's going to be awesome. Right?
That was Lane Kiffin, his press conference in Tennessee. That didn't happen, incidentally.
They lost.
You think sports fans are actually more reasonable than?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not even close. I watch some of this stuff. I've never seen more intelligent people collectively look this stupid.
It's amazing to me, and it's why I'm apolitical. Because the thing, here's where I used
to be so into it. And
here's where I would disagree with you, is that at their core there are a lot of brilliant people, but they are so hamstrung by their inability to even consider that the other side could say anything that's right. And I'm talking both ways here, that their brilliance gets stunted by the fact that they cannot allow themselves to agree that the other side has a decent idea.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I know how smart these people are. These people are all generally smarter than I am.
Yeah.
But you go, how could you not at least concede any of this? There was a guy last night, the numbers were staring him in the face that he was wrong.
Yeah.
And because of his allegiances,
yeah,
he's going, nope, got a couple, carry the 2. And the anchor looks at him and goes, are you actually just saying this stuff?
I believe she referenced science.
Right.
That's just science.
It's not there. Don't argue with science.
I just have schooner/large boat.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm good for another 8 years, right? How long is it?
I believe it's.
I'm kidding, dude.
Like,
somebody behind the glass actually gave me 4.
It's like the Pan Am Games. I think it's every couple years. No. We don't need this many people. We don't need all the maps. We don't need all of it. We just don't. And we don't need any of the rhetoric. And you know who your president is? You can support him or you don't. And there you go. This Veterans Day, ESPN's working with the USO to help lift the spirits of America's troops and their families. Give a gift to our military heroes and their families through USO Wishbook. Visit www.uso.org/ESPN. I'm going to give it to you one more time. www.uso.org/ESPN to grant a wish today.
What are you still laughing about?
I'm just, the whole thing. Just you and every 4 years. Just the whole thing. It's just, it would be funny to me if it weren't so damn sad. But, a lot of people are into it. I just want everyone to be happy.
Do you subscribe to Newsweek?
No. They're going to just do that online now.
From Pod Center, this is the Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPNRadio.com. ESPNRadio.com.